I rise in support of H.R. 6015, the Iran Sanctions Accountability Act, sponsored by the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Lukemeyer. Mr. Lukemeyer is the chair of the National Security Subcommittee on the Financial Services Committee, but could not be here today to articulate his support in the bill that he's constructed. The United States sanctions regime for Iran is designed to deprive Tehran of the resources it needs to pursue international terrorism, weapons of mass destruction, and other objects that undermine our national security and global stability. As with other sanctions regimes, our measures against Iran include common-sense exemptions for humanitarian aid and humanitarian trade. To be clear, it is the country's dictatorship that we seek to punish, not the ordinary Iranian folks forced to suffer under the Ayatollahs. At the same time, we must ensure that humanitarian trade involving Iran isn't misused for illicit purposes. There's bipartisan support here for that. For example, last September, the Biden administration issued a waiver authorizing the transfer of $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds. While the President offered assurances that proceeds could only be used for humanitarian purchases, members on both sides of the aisle have questioned whether this would actually be the case. These concerns are understandable, and Mr. Lukemeyer's legislation addresses that concern head-on. Under this bill, the President will be required to issue regulations ensuring that humanitarian funds are not diverted to support terrorism or weapons proliferations. This may include an array of conditions, including specific transaction limits, enhanced due diligence procedures, and transparency requirements for Iranian counterparties. Additionally, this bill would require these regulations to be evaluated. The President will have to report to Congress on their effectiveness in preventing funds from facilitating Iran's illicit activities. I applaud Mr. Lukemeyer's thoughtful approach to this legislation, which is based on the idea that well-designed sanctions rely on well-designed exemptions. This bill received unanimous support of the Financial Services Committee. I look forward to its passage today, and I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 6015, and I reserve the balance of my time.